Hello there. I am here just to give a simple thank you to all of those who participated in this year's Mega Football Super Fantasy Uberleague. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I do think that it was a very good year. And I just wanted to give my heartfelt congratulations to all of the teams that are doing really well, like me. I learned a whole lot, not only about fantasy football, but myself, and I hope that you did too. At this time, I would just like to say a few words about each of the participants, really just talk about what comes to mind when I, bring them up. Let me just look up here this year's standings. This year, in 10th place, we have Bryan McMahon of the Firebirds. Bryan, I know that grad school is going well for you, although I hear the grad school's kind of a bitch, but at the end of the day, you are very much more likely to get a job than I am, so thumbs up for that. Even though you may be very good at fantasy hockey, I don't think that necessarily translates over to football. There's just a lot fewer Canadians. Canadian football is messed up. Have you ever watched that? Anyway, Bryan, thanks for being last place, because someone has to be. In second to last place, the penultimate spot, we do indeed have Mr. Andrew Steiger of Joe's Bar and Grill. Andrew loved the story about how Joe's Bar and Grill was the name that your dad used to always use for fantasy rugby or whatever. Honestly, I really wasn't listening that closely, but I do want to say that thanks a lot for joining. I know that you joined and you're like, dude, I'm going to lose, but I'll totally do it anyway. And hey, at least you beat Bryan, right? And in 8th place this season, we have Johnny of the Seacocks. The irony here is that, Johnny, I've never actually met you, and I don't know your last name. But I really appreciate you jumping on board. I had a lot of my friends back out at the last minute, and you really stepped in and filled the void. You are more than welcome to play with us any year, especially if you keep doing as bad as you did. Moving right along, in 7th place, we have the beautiful, the talented, the lovely Miss Christy Sainer, head coach of the Wildcats fans. 27. Of what? Wildcats. Wildcat fan 27s. In Wildcat fan 27s. Holster the guns. Holster the guns. You know, you really got off to a great start. You had some great guys, and then you didn't play for a month, and it got you 7th place. But that's cool. Christy, when you're playing in this league next year, and I know that you will, because I will make you, because you're my friend. When you play next year, I would just want you to pick a team name that you can that sounds like a team name. Go Fans! Instead of just a username. Go 27s. Just saying, because the Wildcats fan, it's awkward. It's very awkward. I don't get it. And in 6th place, the comeback of the year goes to Mr. Packy of Tommy Rees for President. I don't know who Tommy Rees is, and I probably could have done some research on that. Packy, I think that you had one of the best lineups out of the whole mess of things, which is pretty awesome. But somehow you lost 7 of your first 8 games. Because it's shoot, that's awkward. I'm watching some late night TV and it's all about sex or something. Weird. But now you are on a 5-game win streak, and that is something to be proud of. You still didn't make it, up there, but where's my drink? I think what happened is that you just hit a that's just luck. So better luck next year. You just took all the bad luck from everyone else and just absorbed it. You really took one for the team. And for that, I thank you. Continuing up next, I've got Dan Lithio of the Neckbeards. Dan, I gotta say, I was so excited to be in a fantasy football league with you because I feel like that we could really rekindle a friendship that we once had. You know, I don't know if we necessarily accomplished that, but I am really glad that we have a bunch of our college friends all playing together. I think that's pretty sweet. Really like the team name, and you almost had it. You were this close with Eric, and then Eric just edged you out, made it into the playoffs, and then you didn't, and you didn't get the wild card. So, you know, there's that. Keep on shaving, buddy. All right, now moving into the playoff bracket. We got 4 teams left, right? In 4th place, we have Mr. Eric Schmidt of the Cajun Lou Blues. Gotta love that name. It's so clever. Do you use that in all of your leagues? I kind of like to think that this was the only fantasy football league that you used the Cajun Lou Blues in. So I hope that you're not a team name slut. Eric, if you're watching this, I'm really glad that you joined us this year. If and when you play in the Uberleague next year, I just hope that you harass a lot more people. What happened to the good old days of giving a dude a dead fish for Christmas? That's the kind of Eric that I want to see. At least verbally. I don't know if I want an actual dead fish. Like, what if we were playing each other and you sent me a dead fish? Like, I don't want that. But I would like a verbal dead fish from you. That would mean a lot to me, man. Thank you. In 3rd place, we have the new guy on the block, Cory of the Hardcore Hampions. Cory, I am so glad that you jumped on board, man. I know that you've never really played before. I think back fondly to the memory of you saying, "So Graham, what do I do?" I taught you how to set your lineup, and I taught you how to find out information about who to put in your lineup. Anyway, very special message for you, my roommate. Stop being such a bitch. Shut up, Cory. Now, the championship game. The Uberleague champion comes down to me. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. And none other than Steve. Steve Peterson of the Huns. Steve, I gotta say, remember last year when I was playing fantasy football and you were all like, "Man, I don't know why I didn't play fantasy football. I want to play fantasy football. I don't even know. I didn't want it, but I wanted to, guy. And then, how did I not play? Oh, but I wasn't playing fantasy football." That's you. That's what you sound like. Steve, gotta hand it to you, buddy. Even though you weren't playing fantasy football with me last year, you still kicked butt this year. And I'm proud of you, man. I feel like I taught you everything that you know. Actually, no, you probably definitely know more about football than I do. But I'm still gonna beat you, and you're gonna die. You're gonna go down. I think I need to work on my trash talking. Steve, it has been a pleasure, and I hope you lose. And lastly, we have me, Graham Carlson of the Jocelyn Possums. Woo! Right here! Anyway, I'm probably going to end up being the champion of the whole league. I just want to let everyone know that it was not rigged. I won solely through talent, skill, and debatably just checking my lineup every week. I'm gonna put this guy away. Oh, shit. Thank you again for such a miraculous season. In closing, friends, I would love to wish you, from my heart to yours, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, and a wonderful off-season. I will see you here next year in the Uberleague. I will see you here next year. That was time. It was supposed to be like a clock. We'll show the guns. Right. Suck it, losers.
Suck it!
Eat it! Ugh.